There are men who struggle against destiny, and yet achieve only an early grave.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 5th episode of Game of the Week. This week I picked up a game called Dragon Age 2, which is sequel to Dragon Age Origins from 2009. As the previous game, it's story-heavy game, tactical combat, and choices should matter. This game is already 5 years old, but the graphics still hold up even in 2016. The look of the locations is bleak and helps set up the atmosphere, especially in cities where you spend most of your time. The characters' models are decent, though in Dragon Age games could be better, especially the look of your characters during the cinematics. In combat and in gameplay, the look is good.
Prepare yourself.
Story of this game was good, sometimes confusing, sometimes weird. You are using something called BioWare story wheels to react on the conversations you are in during the cinematics. This is basically where the choices start to matter and should, because sometimes you go to decide if you, for example, save the keep or save the city, and it impacts your story, your ending, and everything. With the good story, you also need good actors, and the voice acting was decent for me. I actually enjoyed some characters more, some characters less, but it was still good. Unfortunately, this game uses a lot of copy-pastes, especially locations and enemies. You are going to same looking locations over and over again, you are fighting the same enemies over and over again, and unfortunately it gets a little bit boring and you don't enjoy the gameplay that much as you usually enjoy the story. This game also, thanks to that, is very heavy on instancing. So it breaks the atmospheres when you need to go to the same locations, when you go fight the same enemy, and when you basically spend your time on loading screens. The combat was fine, but kind of chaotic due to weird spells. The fights sometimes were prolonged, and it even became quite annoying and boring. Plus, they come from nowhere. You fought a group of enemies, and suddenly, from nowhere, the same enemies came again, and again, and again. Yes, sometimes were tougher, sometimes even one new enemy came, and you were supposed to kill that one first, usually because it was some kind of mage which could one-shot your group, but it kinda became boring and it completely broke the atmosphere and the story when you were fighting the same thing over again and you didn't even know it's coming. Yes, when you saved, you basically knew they are coming, but yes, the surprises would be good, but these surprises were coming quite often and it became boring. At the start of the game, you could go completely without stopping the fight and issuing orders for your group. More to the game, you had to, but wasn't required so heavily like in the first game. The last third of the game gets really unpleasant if you either don't play healer or you don't have a healer. You could do it without healer on normal difficulty, but it would be nice if it would be a little bit better tweaked, so it would be a little bit easier. Last two boss fights were interesting looking, especially the last boss fight. On normal difficulty, it can get challenging, but nothing you can't handle. A lot of quick save is your friend, so you don't have to do small fights over and over again, because they get annoying, for sure. Atmosphere was decent, not like the first game, but it was bleak enough and sometimes dark enough to keep the good atmosphere running. But the heavy instants and copy-pastes kind of ruined the atmosphere heavily. It was nice that some quests were happening during the day, during the night, some quests were happening outside of the city, also in locations you were in the previous game, but you had to go through a lot of loading screens, you had to go through the same area, through same enemy, so it lost the feel. Yes, there were some variations, but they were so small that it didn't help. Also, in this game, you felt like your choices doesn't impact your world and your story as heavily as the previous game. And I think that's too bad. As final rank, I give this game 7 out of 10 as good game. It was good, with a lot of potential, but with many not good executions on some parts of the game. If you played the first game, definitely play this one, especially for the story, because you meet some characters from the first one, especially from the Awakening, and it's worth it. It's a good game, just not as good as it could be. So that's it from me. Thank you everyone very much for watching this video. Please, if you can, hit the like button, subscribe, and please comment what was your experience with Dragon Age 2. Did you like Dragon Age 1 better? Are you excited to play Dragon Age 3? Or did you play Dragon Age 3 and you liked it or you didn't? Let me know in comments below, and thank you very much, and I hope to see you in next video.